Hey everyone, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. I am Samore. I'm a relationship coach and I am here to talk to you guys and review Unfaithful, Caught in the Act. This is hosted by Tammy Roman. So today's episode we have Jessica. Jessica's partner's name is Walter. They've been together for a little over a year and she had just moved to Atlanta at the time. And she was actually on a dating app. I'm thinking probably Tinder. And, they connected. And they were like a perfect match or whatever. So the first date, they went to do some hookah, whatever. And she came up with this brilliant plan to do hookah tips, which is like candy that you put. I think she said it was candy that you put on the hookah. And you get that extra flavor, while you're sucking on the hookah. So it's kind of, it's kind of cute. It's a little sexual. You definitely don't want to be sharing that with anybody except if it's your boo, from my understanding. I mean, I've never tried hookah tips that taste like anything, just the regular ones. But yeah, that's what it kind of sounds like to me. Have you guys tried it? I'm definitely curious. So we ain't have no little like super secret spy cameras or anything like that, because I like to link them when I find them, but it is what it is. So anyway, she said that usually he makes her feel safe. He's like a good man, and he took her home to meet the family, which was great. She was wearing matching like pajamas, matching shirts for Christmas. I mean, when you wearing a matching outfits, that's big. You know what I'm saying? Like, that means that there's something there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just do that with anybody. So, yeah, they have a really good relationship. She's like, everything was good. She felt safe and heard. That was her words that she used. So now, the one thing that she did mention was that his ex, Brittany, they were together before or whatever, and they were together for a long time, and she actually had lost a child. She had a miscarriage, and it was something that they were still dealing with or whatever. But when she came into the picture, she told him, like, let me know if there's anything, because, I'll step to the side, you can do you. And he was like, no, like, that's completely done. It's just he's been healing or whatever, but he's good. He wants to settle down with her and he wants to have a family with her. So, but she, woman's intuition, she's kind of feeling some type of way. I know a lot of people tend to, like, I'm always in between, and this is not a professional advice. This is just my personal experience. It's always you're stuck in between the I want to know what's going on and I'm going to do anything to find out versus the if it will happen, it'll come to me, it will be revealed. Like, you hear a lot of people say that, but sometimes you be with somebody for 10, 20 years and you find out they had like a whole family, or, they had a whole baby or whatever it is. So you don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like sometimes you got to take matters into your own hands. And once again, that's not a professional, type of opinion or anything like that. Or I should say professional advice. This is actually like just we talking, you know what I'm saying? But Brienne is the investigator. She starts doing her little investigation. She followed him to one address. He had a key fob for that place, but he didn't really come back out, so she didn't know who it was for. So that was interesting. Definitely showed that he was familiar with the place, and that wasn't the place that was listed as his address. So it's like, who could that be? So now we see that he went to somebody's house and he was over there bringing like a lamp. He brought some like a mop, like the whole moving in starter kit. So that was a little bit of a red flag. Like, what's going on with that? And he looked real chummy with the girl. They ain't kiss on the lips from what I saw, but he did, hook up real tight, So that was like a little bit of something as far as that, but nothing too crazy. He's just a very active person. So now they tracked him in a restaurant. And in the restaurant, he was with another woman that was different from the one from the second day. So it was like, who is this? He was real close to her. They took little selfies. They was kissing. So that one was definitely, that was definitely for real cheating, because you kissing and selfies, especially the selfies. You taking memories. Nah, that's a problem. You know what I mean? And you want this moment to last. So they showed Jessica everything that they saw, and she didn't know most of the ladies, but there was one that did kind of strike to her that she knew who it was, and that was the one who he actually bought balloons and stuff to. I forgot to mention her, but yeah, that's the one that he had brought balloons to and stuff like that. And that, or maybe they didn't show her, I don't remember, but anyway, her name is Brittany, and that's the ex. Okay, so right there, she was pretty much destroyed, because seeing that after, and that's the only person that she really knew, like he was really close to, and they had like this bond and stuff like that, and she was ready to step aside, and he told her not to because they weren't in anything, you know. And here he goes all chummy with her, bringing her flowers and balloons and all this stuff. So that one was the one that really got to her. It wasn't the girl in the restaurant, because she ain't never seen her before. It wasn't the other one. Like, it was this one, you know. So that was pretty much like the icing on the cake. And, you know, it just kind of made her realize that although there were so many good things, there were a lot of red flags throughout the relationship. And it's like I've said in numerous videos, even with catfish, you know, it's like with these types of situations, a lot of times you see the red flags. They're waving at you. They're like, hello, I'm here. And all you doing is playing carnival with them things, man. You over here turning up yourself, walking up yourself, you dancing, you just having a grand old time because you think that, you know, I can blend in. I can be at one with the red flags. No, these things are here for a reason. They're warnings. They're trying to let you know something before it actually occurs. It's like they be saying in the memes, you know, they be like, God, show me a sign. And there's a big ass sign right there, right in front of you. And you just like, you walk right past the sign. Like, dude, you just asked for the sign. The sign came to you and you kept on moving like it didn't exist, or like you didn't see it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what she realized that she was doing. And it was like so nice and such a fantasy that she just wanted to live in that fantasy, just kind of ignore everything else. Now, Kevin, he speaks briefly about the 4 attachment styles, which I've actually was studying that just yesterday, ironically enough. So it was kind of cool to see it be mentioned. There are 4 attachment styles, which I won't get into in this particular video, but one of them that he falls under is the avoidant attachment style, which is pretty much, it's what it sounds like. Like, they're just kind of like, they're users, or they can be users. They're kind of like, all right, all about themselves. They don't really care about anybody else. Like, just like I said, like it is. But it's a lot more for each one. But that's just kind of giving a quick synopsis, like super quick, like 2 seconds. So yeah. And he more so, from what I see, you know, in one of the last ones we saw, the guy had the God complex. With this one, he is giving somewhat, well, later on as we see him, he was definitely giving me narcissistic personality disorder vibes. But it's kind of hard to say, but it kind of, because I don't see how he is like with them, but just based off the few parts that I did see, it kind of was giving that. I'm also certified in like developmental disorders and also like mental health diseases. So that's another thing that I kind of have been learning as well, is different mental illnesses, disorders, personality disorders, things of that nature. So yeah, it definitely seemed like that was something that he could have possibly had as well. So yeah, these guys on these apps, you gotta watch out. I've met some crazy ones on these apps. I've had some horror stories. I remember when I used to tell my story times, people used to be like, dang girl, like, woo. But yeah, so now Jessica decides, you know what, she's gonna team up with these ladies, which, you know, as long as everybody is understanding, it can work and it can be epic. So one female said that she thought Jessica was a business partner, and most of them that actually knew about her or probably saw pictures of her, that's what they all said. They all like shook their heads in agreement that he said that she was the business partner. And she's like, how could I, like, it's not a business partnership. This is my business. She's like, yes, like, we opened things to at this when he, like, it opened when we were together and he helped me out in certain aspects, but this is all me, you know, the paperwork is in my name. And I'm like, yes, sis, make sure you have that paperwork, because you don't want nobody coming and suing and saying, oh, I helped you with this. And she kind of admitted it on camera that he's helped her. So I mean, unless she was paying him, he can definitely try to, see what he can get if he's that type of guy. And he looks like he's a shady guy. So you never know with these type of people, unless he just don't have money for court, But yeah, these are definitely the kind of people you got to watch. I mean, imagine she would have got married to this man. He would have been claiming half of everything she owned. That's what it's sounding like at this point. So she was telling them that she was with him for the holidays, and met his family and all that, matching outfits, like we said earlier. Like, you gotta know, like, this is matching outfits is like the icing on the cake, y'all. It's like serious. And if you take pictures too, like, anyway, so she was like, it's my business at the end of the day. And he told one girl that he might have took Jessica on a date, but the reason why is because he's trying to get her business, take over her business and flip it and make even more money. So this is exactly what I was saying. These are the type of men that once you marry them, they're going to take you for everything that you own. Kind of like the Mary J. Blige situation or the Britney Spears situation. Like you fall for these guys who you thought were amazing. You're the successful person and you get caught up in shambles. The only person that I've seen that I know and can think of off the top of my head is like Candy Burris. Like she made sure she did a prenup and all that stuff with Todd because she was the more successful one, which I don't blame her for. You can't allow anybody to take everything that you've worked so hard. And on the flip side, guys should do the same thing. A woman shouldn't just come in from nothing and take everything that you own. Unless you cheat on her or something else, then, the same thing with women. I'm not biased to either sex. So anyway, back to the point at hand. So Brittany, she was like, they met 4 years ago and they've been on and off because remember, this is the ex for real. And he told her that he wants to settle down with her and have a family with her, especially because, their baby did die and stuff like that. And they're currently like working on a couple of things. So they were like kind of in a relationship at this moment, just trying to figure things out and get things back together. I mean, you saw him whining and dining her, bringing her little teddy bears and stuff. So he was definitely trying to make sure he keeps on her good graces. So now Tylisha was next. She was the one from the restaurant with the nice little curly natural hair. And she said that she lives alone and they met like last year. She didn't have any family or anything. And he's been pretty much having sex with her. And they had a baby and ended up having to get an abortion. Well, not having to, but he convinced her because he said it wasn't the right time. She wanted to be a model. And I mean, she was pretty much lost, after that. She said that it really hurt her. And you could see the pain as she was telling the story. And it's crazy because she told her story right after she finds out that the other lady actually lost her child. So it's like with one, she didn't really have an option. It just kind of happened that way, but he actually wanted the child. With her, he more so manipulated her into doing what he wanted her to do because he didn't want to have a child with her. He just wanted to have the fun with her. So, now that she sees how it really is, she definitely was hurt by that. And it was definitely terrible. But he told her that he would make her pregnant in the next year. But it's like, that's bullshit, because if you're telling her she shouldn't do it because she's a model or she's pursuing a career, then why would next year be any better? And it's like sometimes we don't even think as women. You just kind of like hear them and you hear these sweet words and you think like, okay, like he's doing it, what's in my best interest. He got my back. He wouldn't tell me anything wrong. No, he's thinking about his own goddamn interest and self. Okay, that's what he's focused on, is himself. And that this is going to really mess up everything for his other relationship that he really wants to be in. How he going to explain a whole baby? Like, that's going to mess up his whole Mac Daddy flow that he got going on. Can't do that. Unless it's with Brittany, because with Brittany, he'll eliminate everybody else. He probably wouldn't even eliminate them. He'd just be a little more careful. You know what I'm saying? And that's, See, this right here, when you really think about it in hindsight, like, that's super nasty, because that means that he was having sex with both of them unprotected at the same time. And it's most likely that he was doing it with the other two as well. You know, I don't know about Rose, because Rose, she said she just recently moved, I believe she said, from Alabama. And, you know, with Rose, she said that they was just about to get into a relationship, but she met him, I believe she said about, did she say a year ago? I think she said about a year ago for her too. So Rose, actually 2.5 years ago was with Rose. And yeah, she just moved into her new apartment on that Friday. So yeah, she said that, you know, like about 2 or 3 days, they've been talking about being together and him possibly even moving into her house. You know, like he trying to get him a free crib or whatever. So yeah, and from what Kevin was able to see, as well as what I saw, is that he likes to gravitate towards, you know how they say you have a type, and I've been saying that for a lot of these different relationships, but with him, it's not so much a physical type, but it's more so a personality type. Like, he likes women that he feels that he can control in some aspects. He'll do the little crumble thing. Like, you know, he'll give them a little bit here, a little bit there, keep them wanting more, keep them gravitating towards him, coming towards him, because he's telling them the things that he knows they want to hear. He's learned what they like. He's learned what to say he's learned their love languages. Like, for this one, it might be words of affirmation. For this one, it might just be sex. She a freak. You know, for this one, he got to bring her some gifts. You know, for this one, he's still working. Like with Rose, he's still working on it. So he's trying to give her stuff, you know, show that he's a good guy. He wants to make sure her house is taken care of. You know, he'll probably sleep over there a good amount of times because she got a whole house. You know what I'm saying? So he knew exactly what he was doing. He just didn't expect to get caught up in his crap, you know? So now Jessica, she says that now that she knows who he is, like, she just hates this. Like, she thought that he was one way, he was put together, he was a good man, but now she just, like, hates this whole situation. And yeah, she said that, yeah, she's not okay with any of this. So now Rose has, like, they team up. Rose has, like, a housewarming party. And as soon as he heard Jessica's voice, because she was like, she met some people, and the first person that came out was Jessica, and he looked like he was ready to shit in his pants. Like, he just looked so shook, y'all. That was priceless. And he's like, oh, how you guys know each other? And, you know, he was like, you know, he told Jessica that, you know, with Rose, he's trying to see something, you know, he's trying to see where they going. And then she's like, but hold on, like, what we got going on? You know, how you trying to see something with her if we got stuff going on? And he looked like he, like, didn't even know what to say at that point. And she was like, oh, because you said that I'm your business partner. And he was like, yeah, it's a team effort. And she's like, what team, bro? Like, I am the person. Like, there's no team effort here. Don't get it twisted, you know? And then Tylisha came out, and she really, like, kind of poured her heart out. And I kind of felt bad because I feel like she said too much. Like, she didn't even need to let him see how vulnerable she was, because I just felt like he was so dismissive. She said, like, you know, it was kind of embarrassing, but I mean, it's her truth at the end of the day. And if you own what it is, then I mean, it is what it is. And if you're not embarrassed, then it's not embarrassing, you know? But she poured out her heart. She said that he made her get an abortion, said he would take care of her. Then when she came over for him to actually take care of her, you know, put his money where his mouth is, he was just like, oh, nah, you got to go home, you know? And she was left, like, crying, almost like begging him to, like, do the right thing. So, you know, it definitely was a messed up situation. I feel like she definitely got it, like, really, really bad. So then, you know, Brittany came out, and she had a whole cake. She threw that joint on him, rubbed it on him. And then Tylisha came and poured a little drinky drink on him. I was like, yes, ladies, better mess that man up, because this is a messy situation. So Tammy, and she tells him that he pretty much got caught in the act while he was cleaning himself up. And he just was like, okay, Like, I'm just like, this dude he's like showing no true emotions. And he finally came out to speak to them after he finished like cleaning himself up and everything. And when he was asked why he did this, pretty much, he said that he pretty much like acted like he didn't know. He's like, he doesn't know why. And Tammy's like, no, you gotta speak to each one of these ladies and kind of give them something, So he says that he gave Tylisha an apology before, and Tylisha's like, when? So after going back and forth and her like literally bawling her eyes out, and Kevin and Tammy telling him like she does deserve an apology, even if you claim you did it before, like being a man would be to do it now because she's hurting right now. The pain has not gone away, This is something that she actually really wanted, is to be a mom. And this probably, maybe deep down, she kind of feels like she wouldn't have been alone, because this would have been somebody. One thing about kids is, for the most part, is that's someone who's going to love you unconditionally. It's not like a man's love where it's going to leave. And ironically enough, I heard this same thing in the Kevin Hart concert that I went to last night, where he mentioned it. Was it Kevin? I don't remember if it was Kevin or Chris, but one of them had mentioned it, that with a child, the love is different because it's unconditional. When you have these nasty little guys out here, they kind of be gone, or they could just get up and leave at any time. And the love's not always unconditional, it can leave depending on what happens during the course of the relationship. But a child, for the most part, unless y'all have like developed some nasty ass attitudes, or you guys have something going on that you guys have to heal from, then yeah, it's gonna be a different type of love. And I think that she knows that she could have had that, and she missed out because of him. And at the end of the day, she probably would have not even cared to raise a child with him. She would have done it on her own. That's what I'm seeing from the little things that she's saying, and how much pain that she still has from this situation. So yeah, and he then went on to apologize, but I didn't feel like it was genuine. I felt like he did it because of all the pressure, the cameras. He felt like it was something he needed to do because of everybody telling him. But it's like, if people have to force you to do it, like, I don't feel like you really wanted to do it. He really didn't. And he only did it to save face, because like if he didn't, they'd have just been looking at him like, wow, you're an asshole, So yeah, that was that one. And he told Rose that all of this was like, all of this stuff that happened was before she got here. And she's like, but you was just on dates with all of them recently. So it's like, he was not making any sense at all with Brittany. He told her that, he does want to be with her. And she was like that she's tired of the lies and manipulation. She's just kind of like done with him. And he said that he felt like he would cut off everybody for Brittany. And she said, when we talked about being exclusive, you agreed to it. And come to find out, like, you're in a relationship with all of these people. And he was like that he wasn't with anything with them like a few months ago. And Jessica interjected, like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, just in December, we was in the pajamas. You know what I mean? Like, a matching outfits. Are you crazy? He's like, no, shut up. Like, he really, like, dismissed her, cut her off, and said, you're worried about the wrong things. I was like, wow, look at the nastiness. Because right now, she's putting out the truth and messing up what he was saying. I'm like, why isn't anybody addressing the part that he was just super rude to her at that moment? But yeah, she was definitely, I was just like, wow, like, this is what you want, girl. This is not it. So Jessica, she got to say her part last, and he tells everyone that that he never told her that they were together. He always beat around the bush. So I don't know, maybe it was one of those things where it was like an unspoken type of thing. Like, maybe they never said like we're boyfriend and girlfriend. That's why it's always good to have those conversations. Even if they make you uncomfortable, have conversations about sexual status, like, are we the only ones having sex? And you let them know what it is that you want to do. Are we just dating? Are we dating, or are we exclusive? Are we in a relationship? you know? And also, do you have any STDs? I would like to see your papers. Like, these are some of the top 3 conversations that any type of new relationship should definitely have. And, you know, maybe once a year, if you're in a long-term relationship, you can just make sure, you know, if you're not married or anything. I mean, if you're married, I mean, I think that's a given. But sometimes you don't even know it's that, you know what I'm saying? So these are good things and good questions to ask. And hopefully your partner would be, or your spouse will be honest and tell you the truth. But even with that, you can't always trust it. But he pretty much said it like, you know, we were never really in anything. So it's like he was giving her the treatment, but not really giving her an actual relationship. And I've definitely been in something like that years and years ago, like over decades ago. And it was like he was doing everything like a relationship, but he never really said those words. So he was out there with Tom, Dick, Harry, you know. Well, I should say Jennifer, James, Tarlisha, Teresa, Carissa, you know, everybody out there, you know. It was just a shit show. It was one of these. It was definitely one of these. And we had like the conversations, because I don't play that. So I had the conversation with her. Well, one of them I didn't get to have a conversation with, but 2 of them out of 3 I did. So this was me. So I could definitely relate to Miss Jessica now that I really think about it. And so yeah, Kevin, he was like, all you have to do in these types of going forward is to make sure that you, like what I just said, you know, you kind of lay it out and you let them know, like, this is who I am, this is what I would like to do, and here's where I would want to go. You know, like, I'm a man, I like to have sex with many women, I prefer to date right now, I'm not looking for anything serious. Are you okay with that? You know, and possibly if we get serious, or if, you know, we can talk about this down the road after a couple months or whatever, you know, like, just lay it out there. And whoever's down for the cause will be down for the cause. Don't manipulate them, play with them, you know, kind of dangle them around and just hold on to them when they could be finding their kings. You know, they could be finding that man, that pharaoh that is going to be in their lives. You know what I'm saying? But 3 months later, they did like the update and all that stuff. And I mean, he said that he just wanted, he didn't want to be with Jessica anymore. He just wants to call it quits. He's quitting the company and all that stuff. So it looks like he pretty much lost all of them. I'm hoping that Brittany didn't go back to him, because I mean, this is a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, you do not, like, yeah, y'all have like that trauma that y'all bonding on, but like, this is even more trauma that you're adding on to it. Do you want to bond over this as well? I don't think so. But anyways, 3 months later, Jessica said that, you know, she's great. Her business is booming still. And he doesn't help her with the business anymore, which is perfectly fine. And she's open to dating and also like loving herself. And that's one of the most important things, like, is to worry about yourself, loving yourself, putting yourself first, and self-care, you know? Especially if you're in like a difficult relationship or anything like that, or you're trying to make it work. Like, you have to put yourself first, have your alone time, your me time, go to the spa, you know, whatever makes you happy. Do a little mask at night, you know, a little massage, whatever you need to do to get yourself in a better headspace. But I really hope that you guys like this episode, this review, and I will see you guys on the next one. Laters.